Hello again. It is Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit, talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Steve Post joined here in Concord, North Carolina by Ashley Stremme from our Lethal Chassis Studios in Mifflintown, Pennsylvania. Hello, Ashley. How are you?
Steve, I am fabulous. All is well. Everybody got to race this weekend. There was some rain along the way, but for the most part, those series have got some good races going on.
No doubt about it. We live in a fascinating time in motorsports. Who had Tony Stewart winning NHRA? Who had Jonathan Davenport running a cup race? Ashley, it is so fascinating what is going on. Tony Stewart winning that NHRA race on Sunday afternoon. When you look at Bristol, we had Jonathan Davenport ran the cup race and the truck race. Tanner Carrick, the great racer out of California, ran the truck race. Late models, Ashley, we had cup guys running late model races a couple weeks ago. I mean, it's crazy what we have. Dogs are sleeping with cats and cats are sleeping with dogs here in the sport. Very, very exciting though, isn't it?
It really is. What Tony Stewart has done just puts another notch in his belt, if you will, for everything that he's accomplished in his career. Just absolutely incredible. And I'll never get upset about asphalt drivers coming to race dirt. It's always great to see that. The crossover has been huge these last few years. It's just awesome to see it.
And we're talking about that because our guest today is the king of that world, Kyle Larson. He joins us. When you think about Kyle Larson, you just need to mention 2021, Knoxville Nationals, Kings Royal, Prairie Dirt Classic, NASCAR Cup champion in 2021. And well, he continues on. He won a big dirt late model race a couple of weeks ago, and on Sunday afternoon, he was in victory lane at Martinsville. And Kyle Larson is with us on the Sage Fruit Hotline coming up next. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit Apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Johnny Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com. Welcome back. It is Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Let's get right to it. Let's go to the Sage Fruit guest line. Joining us fresh off from a cup win to victory lane, high limits last week, and a whole lot more. Kyle Larson joins us. Hello, Kyle. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's been a good Monday so far. So happy to be a winner in Martinsville and glad to be talking to you guys as well.
Yeah, Kyle, we want to, obviously this is Wing Nation Sprint Car Show, but to win at a place like Martinsville, a place where you never really thought you would win at, we're 24 hours or so after that win. What does it mean to you as you've started to settle in that you're a Martinsville winner?
Yeah, I don't know. It still feels cool. It's still unbelievable in a way to me. And I joked with some of my dirt friends who text me, afterwards saying congrats. And I was like, man, my career might be complete. I've got a win at Williams Grove and now Martinsville. So, not much left out there to accomplish, but no, I just joking. But, it was just a great day for us and a great accomplishment. So, huge thank you to everybody on my team for, building a great car and one capable of going out there and compete for wins.
Well, speaking of a huge win, High Limits last week had its kickoff with Shane Stewart's a race there at Lakeland. Let's talk about that. So one race in, how are things going? What's your assessment on everything? I watched it. I thought it was incredible. Great race. Gio Scelzi won, but your assessment of the whole situation?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it went well. I thought, for our first event, having 56 cars and, support division with 20-something cars, I thought it went well. I do think there's a lot of room for improvement in a lot of areas. I think, being midweek, you always want to push efficiency. So I think, a even quicker program. And, we did lose a lot of time in qualifying, when Jake Newman, got in the wall and crashed. And thankfully he's okay. That was a scary situation. But, we got behind a little bit there. And, I think there's just little things that we can do to, make the experience better for the fans, the competitors, everybody. And like I said, make the show move along more efficiently. Just a bunch of little things there. And even on the broadcasting, trying to make things more exciting for the fans, and just different. I think you want to stand out a little bit than the other forms of racing, I guess, on flow and all that. But overall, I was really happy with how it went. I thought the track conditions were near perfect for a half mile like that to produce a great race. An amazing field of cars, so that was great. And from the sounds of it, I wasn't at Peevely this weekend, but from the sounds of it, all the competitors thought they all had very good things to say about it. So I think that means the most to us. And knowing that we have a lot of area that we can easily improve, I think that's a good starting point.
Kyle, it's always a balance when you start something new. You just mentioned you want to differentiate yourself from other situations out there, other series, other races. But yeah, we have the tried and true. You guys added the Durst dice roll, which really didn't come into play, but you added the choose cone, which did come into play. How do you balance new things versus old things, tradition versus new things, new parts of the sprint cars?
Yeah, I mean, and I think we all knew that the dice thing wouldn't come into play on the 50,000 win races. But the winner came from ninth. So, I think everybody, obviously it's a risk, but the winner came from ninth there. I think Buddy came from like 13th maybe at Lincoln Park. So the majority of these tracks that we're going to are racy places. So I think, yes, it's hard to turn down a pole position when you're racing for a lot of money, but I can guarantee you if I win a trophy dash and the track conditions look all right, I'm rolling that dice. So, and hopefully I'll be able to prove to everybody that can be done. But I think it's just something fun, and I think there's a way we can build up that excitement a little bit better than we did and all that too. But the choose cone I thought was good. I honestly think it turned out better on camera than it did in real life. I think it was a bit confusing for all of us out there. That's stuff that we just got to talk over with the race director and kind of just have a little bit more of a heads up on when we are coming to the choose cone. Cause I think there was moments under the cautions when they kind of confused the drivers by calling it late, and it caught, I think like when Gio went from wherever he did to lining up second row inside, I don't think that some of the drivers in front of him were ready for it. And two, I think on the choose cone, we've talked about it, since then, Brad and I, but we need to have it look different than a normal cone too. I think we're also used to going to the right side of a cone when we see it on the front stretch. Like, if you're not fully paying attention to your race receiver, you just go to the right side of the choose cone. So I think, if we can have the choose cone maybe lit up or stand out, differentiate itself from a normal cone. And when you see it out there, that it's time to choose inside or outside. That would make things a little simpler for us. But it's tough, man. It's like in the Cup stuff, you have a spotter kind of counting things down. I was 16th in the beginning of that race, and you're trying to look like a half a track ahead of you and counting cars, and it's difficult, but it does add a new element. I like the choose thing. You can kind of control your own destiny a little bit better. I do think it's a little more fair, if the track conditions are right. So, I think the fans all, had positive comments on it. So I think we'll continue with it and like I said, kind of fine tune it and see if we can get a little bit, just a little bit less confusing for the competitors.
Yeah, live and learn. It really is. When you add something new, it is kind of a challenge. Kyle, hang in there with us. Everyone else, stick around. More with Kyle Larson in just a moment. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Johnny Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com. Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Let's go right back to the Sage Fruit hotline. Kyle Larson is our guest this week. Kyle, I want to branch off a little bit, keep it in racing, but keep it in the family. March 14th, Millbridge Speedway, your son Owen, his career first win. The good news is you were there to witness it. What was that like as a dad to watch your boy get that first win?
It was it was extremely special. He honestly has not been like that good. I think, whenever we've gone to Millbridge in the past, if there's 24 kids, he's usually like the 12th best. And yes, there's been some older kids move out of the beginner box stocks and move up into box stocks, but for whatever reason this year, he's been really good and fast, aggressive, making smart moves out on the track, and he's still racing against really tough competitors, Tanner Tucker, Braxton Bush, Addison Owens, the 111, she's been really good. And I mean, I kind of just base Owens' level of talent, or whatever you want to call it, off of Braxton, because Braxton races a lot. He races just as much as I do, so he's gonna way more experience than Owen is. So I feel like when Owen can go out there and race around Braxton and beat him for a win like that, or even this past race, start 14th and drive to second, it makes me really proud of him, because he's not been the most confident with his racing. He's always really hard on himself. So to see him accomplish something that he's worked pretty hard for and has wanted to win really badly, and it's taken him 3 years or so to win, was really neat. So now he's getting really confident and a little cocky. He thinks he's going to win every race when he goes out there. So that's not a bad thing, I guess, to have. So I'm trying to channel that a little bit, but also not I like the aggression that he has right now. So I don't want him to lose any of that.
Mental preparation is half the battle. And speaking of that, Kyle, obviously a NASCAR driver, you drive a late model, a sprint car, you've got a racetrack. Now you promote a series. You have a brand new baby boy, Cooper, your son, Owen, your daughter, Audrey, of course, your wife, Caitlin. Obviously you have great people in place that help you do all these things, but how do you mentally handle it? How do you disconnect from everything to just, be a dad or be Kyle and try to just get away from everything every now and again?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're a parent now, so you kind of get it, I'm sure, but it's hard. It's stressful. It's overwhelming at times. I think just being a parent and trying to parent kids is overwhelming. But then when you have a crazy schedule like I put on myself, sometimes it can get stressful and not as much fun and tough. But I've been running really well here, it seems, to start the year, especially in the Cup side, and even the dirt late model. We've gotten a couple wins and some other podiums, and just in one race, in the sprint car, we had a good run. So I feel like when you're running good on track, it kind of helps everything off the track. So hopefully we can keep that up, but it's hard to juggle it all. My kids are getting older, then we have a newborn. So Owen's got a lot of baseball games coming up that I'm going to miss. He's, I'm all, for the next handful of weeks, I race on like every Tuesday. So I don't get to go to Millbridge to watch him race. So there's a lot of sacrifice that goes into having a schedule like mine. But I really just want to be the best race car driver I can be without, with also still being, the best dad I can be. So it's tough juggling it all. But I've got, like you mentioned, great people around me to help balance it all. My wife, she's amazing. I don't know how she puts up with me all the time. And between, our nanny and Caitlin's parents help quite a bit. My parents, when they're in town, they help. It's a lot that it's a lot of work to live the life that we live.
Kyle, I had such a beautiful seat up at Martinsville on yesterday, Sunday afternoon, when your kids showed up into Victory Lane. Of course, Owen is the veteran. He's been there. He knows where he's going. He knows the drill. Cooper, of course, is in mom's arms because she's 4 months old. Audrey was so cool because she was following Big Brother and not really certain where he was taking her. That's got to be neat, though, to have moments like that where you succeed and to be able to share with Caitlin and with the kids.
Yeah, especially for the NASCAR wins because that's only the second one they've been to. My kids have since I've started racing for Hendrick Motorsports. They went to the championship race at Phoenix in 2021, and then yesterday was the first time that they've been back for one of my wins. It was the first time Cooper got to be in Victory Lane. Obviously, he's not going to remember any of that, but and even having Caitlin there, I think she's only been to 2 or 3 of my wins since I've been with Hendrick. So, yeah, for whatever reason, I don't win when they're there typically, but it was great to have them there and celebrate a win that, at a place that I never thought that I would get to celebrate a win with them at. So, yeah, it was pretty special. And then, reality hits pretty quickly afterwards when you're driving home and Cooper's screaming for an hour and a half in the back seat. So it's welcome to real life, I guess.
I love it. Speaking of which, this past week, you were named to NASCAR's top 75. And I believe the tweet was one of the most talented drivers behind the wheel ever. Kyle, obviously, as a little kid, you inspired to do this, and you've reached the goals that you've reached. But to know that people put you in that caliber of group of people at the very top of your tier, what does that mean to you? And is it kind of surreal?
Well, it means a lot. It means a lot because I don't really feel like I'm a top 75 driver yet. Like there's been a lot of drivers who accomplish a lot in this sport and, race wins, championships, multiple championships, big wins, stuff like that. And I'm only 30 years old and not anywhere close to the end of my career, I hope. So yeah, for me to get, accepted into the top 75 was, I guess, just indescribable. Like, they called and Mike Helton called and Jim France called and told me the news. And I was like, man, I honestly, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. I'm shocked. Like, this is surprising, but, it just makes me feel really good that, what we did in 2021 really stands out. I think that's obviously the reason why, I'm a part of that list. And, hopefully it makes me want to push even harder to go, I guess, further up that list someday. And that's going to take a lot more wins and some more championships along the way. But I know I'm with a great team to do it. So just got to keep plugging away and keep accomplishing cool things.
Kyle, we are right up against the window as far as time goes, but this is Wing Nation. The High Limit Series sprint cars, do you have other stuff scheduled right now, or are you just kind of sticking to that as far as your sprint car stuff?
No, I'll still run. I'll run a handful of outlaw races. It's kind of tough this year to run much because there's not many midweek races. So, just basically like my typical schedule really, for a sprint car, but I'm adding, those midweek high limit races. So, it's been a lot of late model stuff to start the year. The late model stuff starts to slow down here in the next few weeks. And then it's basically strictly sprint cars there for a few months. So excited to get back with Paul. It was a lot of fun racing the other night. I forget, how much fun I have racing with Paul and get to have one of my best friends, Trevor Canales. He's back on the team. So I don't think he's been with us full time since 2017 or 18 maybe. But so it's fun having Trevor on the team. He brings a lot of energy to it and just light, fun. So yeah, excited to get back in the sprint car more frequently. And I just love sprint cars. They're just the most badass cars. So I had a blast the other night and look forward to all the rest of them coming up.
Sprint car fans across Wing Nation are rejoicing with that news. And with that, we're going to say goodbye. Kyle, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on all the success. And we'll talk to you again here on Wing Nation sometime soon.
All right. Thank you, guys.
There we go. Kyle Larson on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Stay with us more in just a moment. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com. Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. And man, oh man, Ashley, I'll tell you, I could talk to Kyle Larson all day long. Boy, I'll tell you what, we didn't get to talk as much sprint car racing because he's got so much else going on. It's a good problem for Mr. Larson to have, isn't it?
The dude is just absolutely incredible, no matter what he climbs behind. And he just thinks he's just an average Joe that just races cars for a living. It's so awesome.
Another thing I loved is that the All-Stars are back, Ashley, and when they came into their 2023 season, easy for me to say, they came in guns a-blazing. Attica Raceway Park, the Spring Nationals, not one but 2 thrillers, and it started on Friday night, Ashley.
Yes, Craig Mintz with that last 0.007 1,000 of a second final corner pass. Awesome stuff. Absolutely just crazy to see it. I watched it 4 times. I know what's going to happen. I still watched it again. Like, it's awesome. And then Saturday night, Steve, Brent Marks. I mean, we've talked about this with him. Like, it all starts with qualifying, and he had to run a B main.
Yeah. Craig Mintz did what he did on Friday night, and Brent Marks pulled in the pits and said, "Hold my beer. Watch this." Fantastic start for the All-Stars. Fantastic, solid start for Zeb Wise, and we talked to Zeb, we talked about Zeb. He picked up a win at Williams Grove a couple of weeks ago. 2 second-place finishes, really, really good. Speaking of Williams Grove, some kid won up there, Ashley. Some guy who won up there?
Some kid that's got 112 careers at 12 career wins at Williams Grove. None other than that 69K Lance DeWeese. Just awesome what Lance has done. We don't have to talk about that. But then Baps, a young kid, he's making a run and a name for himself. Devin Borden won at Port Royal a few weeks back. Now Sunday, Baps winner.
No doubt. Good stuff. Out west, Dennis Roth Classic. Friday night was Corey Day getting the win. Saturday night, first ever NARC win, and it was worth $18,838 for Justin Cox. Justin Cox is a great racer. I was shocked. I did not even realize it was his first career NARC win. I guess when I thought about it, I did. But Ashley, if you're going to win one, 18 grand's not a bad one to win.
That's right. He picked the right one to show up and make that actually pay, quote unquote, off.
World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, they roll into Knoxville. Knoxville got rained out this past weekend. I know they wanted a tune-up race. They're going to have to go cold turkey with the Outlaws rolling in. I love that we have an April World of Outlaw race at Knoxville.
It's true. I know a lot of guys like it just as a test and tune type deal, but it's great either way.
Selinsgrove throws into the mix this weekend with a Sunday afternoon show, and talked a little bit to Kyle Larson about High Limits. Their next show is next Tuesday night at 34 Raceway. $23,000 to win. Fun show, Ashley. Always love when we get a chance to catch up with Kyle Larson.
No doubt. Such a great guy. It's just awesome to see. Oh, and hey, Sunday with the sprint cars for the Ray Tilley Classic, modifieds. Yeah. Check it out. We'll be there.
Awesome. That's going to be awesome. That's for sure. Hey, we appreciate Kyle Larson, and we appreciate you joining us here on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit.